Are you in love with the past? Do you want to get back to the golden era by wearing vintage clothing and maybe driving some rock and roll music? This is what Lulu Vintage Fair is all about. It was held in Cardiff over the weekend. Our reporter Amira Fowd went along to see if there's any bargains from bygone era.
Those who've seen us know that nothing can come between us.
Nearly 500 people flocked to this event in Cardiff City Hall. More than 40 stalls displayed retro clothing, homeware, jewellery and collectibles from the 20s until the 90s of the last century. Some vintage retailers have been inspired from childhood to start their own business of collecting old stuff.
I like searching for the vintage items, looking for something unusual. So half my stall is vintage items, the other half is handmade, vintage style jewellery and accessories, etc. So I spend a lot of time making things, but the most favourite thing is actually looking for the genuine vintage items.
While others are actually quite fond of selling all kinds of old clothes, from furs and knitted sweaters to the jeans of the 90s.
I think it's a really good thing to get into as far as recycling and upcycling clothing. I really like the sustainable element behind it.
Most visitors in the fair have already their wardrobes filled with old clothes. James loves dressing up in his vintage ones.
I think they just have more style than more modern day clothes, especially menswear, which is quite difficult to come across menswear that is quite unique. A lot of it nowadays is very samey. You look at places like H&M and Debenhams and all that sort of stuff. It's quite generic clothing, whereas here you're often going to find something that stands out a little bit more and catches people's eye.
For many people at the event, there is still a lot of nostalgia for the past.
I think people are fascinated with the war, and it's such an iconic era. And when you look at the hairstyles from the era as well, women started going to work and their hair was still pristine every day when they went out.
I like all the music. We've been sat over there with a cup of tea singing along as well.
I like the jewellery and I like...
You had a bow for your hair, didn't you?
Yeah.
It seems that no matter how young or old you are, or whether you really lived in the golden age or not, we all have the feeling that the past was just more beautiful.